Okay, good morning, students, and maybe this is the last lecture for your third unit, mechanical property of the material. So, here the relationship between strain and stress. The total strength of material is based on this concept, stress and strain. Okay, so how many type of stress and strain we going to study, and how many type of strain will be generated. So, okay. So as we know from the previous lecture, stress is the internal property of the material. Means when we apply the load, stress will be generated to diffuse the deformation. Okay. So stress is produced to diffuse the deformation. Okay, what is the strain? Strain is the when we apply the load, whatever the deformation shown by the material, that is strain. Strain may be elastic, may be plastic. Strain may be elastic, may be plastic. So, if strain under the elastic deformation, if strain is under the elastic deformation, so you can say that the elastic strain, and if strain is beyond the elastic deformation, means in the plastic deformation, so we can say that the plastic strain is there. Okay, so whatever the stress strain, it is totally depend on the whatever the load apply on the particular component. Okay, so here we can see here we can see here we can see the load is applicable here on the cross section of this specimen, means F4 and F4 means tensile force. A tensile force is applicable on this specimen, and this is the cross sectional area. This is the cross sectional area where the applied force is due to deformation. Okay, if the tensile force is applied, then what happens? The dimension in this direction will be increased. The dimension in this direction, in that direction, will be increased, and in the vertical direction, what happens? The dimension will be reduced. Dimension increase along with the application of the force direction, and dimension will be reduced in the vertical direction. But what happens when the compressive force like this? F is now compressive force. See, F is now compressive force. Then what happens in this direction? What happens? The length is decreased. And in the vertical direction, what happens in the vertical direction? The dimension will be increased. Means in the tensile force, the length will increase and width is decrease. And in the compressive force, what happens? The length is decreased and width is increased, like that. So here we can say sorry. So axial stress. What is the axial stress? Means in the along the force direction, along with the force direction. So whatever the force direction is there in this. So whatever the axial force means the stress produced in the एक्सियल डायरेक्शन, जिधर आपका जिस डायरेक्शन में आपका फोर्स सप्लाई है उस एप्लीकेशन में, उस डायरेक्शन में whatever क्या स्ट्रेस प्रोड्यूस होगा, दैट इज द एक्सियल स्ट्रेस। जिस एक्सिस पे आपका फोर्स एप्लीकेबल है फॉर द डिफॉर्मेशन, दैट एक्सिस पे आपका स्ट्रेस क्या होगा, दैट इज इक्वल टू एफ अपॉन ए। व्हाट इज एफ? एफ इज हियर, एफ इज दिस, एफ इज दिस applied force, and what is A? A is the cross sectional area. Cross sectional area, and that is the same here. This is the A. Okay, this is the A. So if I change the color, yes, so you can easily. So this is our cross sectional area. Okay. So this is our cross section. So if we going to measure the stress, you can see that that is the axial stress. Normal meaning is there. Now, okay, simple. So all the stresses, the main is same stresses is there. F upon A, F is the applied force, and F is the applied force, and A is the cross-sectional area. A is the cross-sectional area for particular specimen. So here, now defining the normal strain. We talk about the normal stress. Now we talk about the normal strain. So what is the here? The she's epsilon is the representation of the strain. Okay. So it is the delta L divided by L naught. Delta L divided by L naught. What is the delta L? Deformation. Whatever the deformation, and L naught is initial length. If we talk about the tensile force here applied, okay, so without load, what happens without load? What is the length? L naught. Without load, L naught is the length. After applying the load, how much length is increases? Delta L. Delta L is the length that is increases. So strain equal to delta L. आपका लेंथ कितना भी इंक्रीज हुआ, वॉट एवर द लेंथ इंक्रीजेस एंड डिवाइड बाय एल नॉट द ओरिजिनल लेंथ बिफोर अप्लाइंग द फोर्स, that is the strain. So the basic definition we can say that what is the formula for the stress and strain. Stress is the stress is the force upon area, means whatever the applied force is there, and divided by the cross-sectional area where force is applied. Okay, and what is the strain? Strain is the delta L upon L naught, where delta L is the deformation and L naught is the original length without applying the load. Okay, so this is about the simple stress and simple strain, or we can say that normal stress, normal strain, or other name is axial stress and axial strain. Okay, three name is for same notification or same thing. normal stress strain, simple stress strain, or the axial stress strain. All three are the same. Now, what is the Poisson ratio now? So, the Poisson ratio here denoted by mu equal to epsilon x divided by epsilon z equal to epsilon y divided by epsilon z. So, what is the meaning of that? So, what is the meaning of that? Okay. So, the meaning of that here is the here if we apply the force along the x-axis, if we apply the force along the x-axis, so here this is the x direction and this is the z direction. Okay, so what is the strain in the x direction? That is denoted by the epsilon x, and what is the deformation in the, what is the strain in the y z direction? That is our y epsilon z. Okay, so like for a simple example, we can say that, okay, for the simple example, we can say that if it is small b and this is L, or we can simplify L naught and B naught. Okay, L naught and B naught. Okay, so after application of the force, what happens? In the x direction, delta L elongation is there. Length is increased delta L, and in the y direction where V naught is there, delta B is the decrement in the length. Here delta B is the decrement in the, so epsilon x means strain in the x direction. What is that? Delta L divided by L naught. Okay, and epsilon z equal to that is the decrement. Okay, if delta L is the elongation, then delta will definitely decrement. So we put a symbol here, minus, sorry, epsilon z equal to delta B divided by B naught with minus symbol, with the minus symbol. Why? Because it, delta B is the decrement of the length, decrement of the width, and delta L is the increment of the length. Okay, so that is the simple. Okay, now if we're going to measure the Poisson ratio, then what is the Poisson ratio? See here, what is the epsilon x delta L divided by L naught. Okay, and here divide by minus delta V divided by V naught. So if we simplify this, then we get mu equal to what is delta L into delta B minus sign divided by L naught into B naught. Okay, so that is the originated formula for the Poisson ratio. Okay, so Poisson ratio is used for many problems, belongs to the stress strain, belongs with the stress strain. Okay, so this is about the stress, simple stress strain and Poisson ratio. So students, any doubt till here? If any doubt, then please ask. Students, if you have any doubt, then please ask. Till here, if you have any doubt, then please ask. So that I go forward. Okay. So next thing, see, we come here for the next, the other type of stress that is called shear stress, and we represented by the tau. Be represented by the tau. Okay, the formula is same. The formula is same, but the applied force tendency is same. The applied force tendency is same for the shear stress. Means in the shear stress, what happens? The material will be shear along a plane. Okay, so you can come here and see the diagram. You see the diagram. Okay, the applied not in the same axis. See, this is the one force axis and this is the other force axis. Okay, so applied force is not in a same action of line, but they are parallel and opposite in the direction. Okay, for the shear stress, two equal and opposite force will apply with a two equal and opposite force is applied on a component which is not in a same line of action, which is not in a same line of action. So you can see this is the cross sectional area. This is the cross sectional area here, and you can say that this is the shear plane. This is the shear plane. Okay, where shearing is occur. So formula is same, no doubt formula is same, but only difference between the simple stress and shear stress is that force applied in the opposite and equal to each other, but not in the same line of action. The line of action will change for the shear stress. Like you can see that here what happens. The line of action is same. The only difference between simple stress and shear stress is that the line of action forces is not same. Okay, they are parallel to each other but not in the same of the line of action. So formula is same, but representation is changed. Tau is the for shear stress and sigma is the for the simple stress. See what happens? Delta x. What happens? Delta x is here. So delta x angle is same. So if L is this and delta x is there, here force are here string. When we talk about this, that is not a length, means that is not a length, means it is not compressed, not along. So this is about angle here, this angle and this angle. Two angle is here. Okay, this angle and this angle is there. Okay. So here in the form of angle, and we can represent by theta, alpha, okay, symbol here. Now see, defining shear strain. So it is represented by the gamma. Okay, gamma is tan theta, tan theta. Okay, now what happens? So here actually now here what happens? This is and this is. So see, this is delta x and this is L. This length is L. So what happens in the shear deformation or when the shear force is applied, then what happens? Deformation only in the x direction. Deformation only in the x direction. The L length is same before deformation and after deformation. And this here is what happens. The deformation is only in the x direction and L is same before load application and after load application. So shear is nothing. It is represented in the form of angle. So that angle is gamma. So normally we represent angle alpha, beta, gamma, like that. So alpha shear stress in the x direction, beta shear stress in the y direction, and gamma shear stress in the z direction. So we can say that this is z, this is x, and this is y. Alpha, beta, gamma. Shear stress in the x direction, shear stress in the y direction, and shear stress in the z direction. Okay, so here gamma is represented the shear stress about the z direction. Okay, in the x direction and what happens? Force is applied. So maybe deformation direction. Okay, so gamma is here. Gamma is representation for the deformation in direction, and gamma is the representation for the in the z direction. Okay. Now, tensile test we already studied. Tensile test we this is the specimen. See, this is the specimen and this is the threaded edge one. See, why this threaded zone is provided? Why this threaded zone is provided? Fit in the UTM machine. Be properly fit by this threaded in the machine. So the fixation of the specimen is good condition. Okay, and this is your F and this is your LX. Okay, so what is the LX? LX is the area, means where we going to conduct the test. Means we only observe the deformation and changes only this length. Okay, when we apply the tensile force or we apply the compressive force, we see or observe the deformation only this area. See and observe only LX length for the deformation or strain. Okay, these length means here you can see this length and this length. This is the support of the specimen in the machine. These lengths provide to the support of the specimen in the UTM machine. Okay. Now, uniaxial test. What do you mean by uniaxial test? Means the elongation and stress along to the where along to the force side. Okay, see here. So epsilon x is equal to 1 upon E and sigma xx means stress along the x direction and strain along the x direction. Strain along the x direction equal to 1 upon E, stress along the x direction. So what happened? E, we already know this is the Young modulus, modulus of elasticity. You see, E is the Young modulus or modulus of elasticity. We can discuss these things in previous lecture too. So no need to much more explain about the this is stress-strain relationship. See, this is our strain and this is our stress. So we can say that this is our first stress-strain relationship. Transverse strain. So this is the formula for the transverse strain. U equal to sigma yy. So transverse strain is equal to U equal to epsilon yy and epsilon xx. So whatever the strain in x direction and whatever the strain in y direction, make a ratio. And these lines, these two lines here, this is represent of the mod. You can say that U equal to mod epsilon yy and epsilon xx. The meaning of mod, whatever the value is we gain here, it may be negative, it may be positive, but we took only positive value, so that this mod symbol is here. It meaning that whatever the value we gain after epsilon yy divided by epsilon x, it is maybe positive, maybe negative. We only take positive value. If it is positive, then there is no problem, but if it is negative, then we take only positive value. We take only value, not the sign. Okay. Now we come to stress strain curve. So we already discussed the stress strain curve, but here you can see different material stress strain curve. Okay. So most probably we see whatever the stress strain curve shown in the internet or different books, that is belongs to the mild stage stress strain curve. Okay, this is the mild stage strain curve. So different materials, the different behavior are different curves in the stress strain curve with the application of the different materials. So this is the mild stage, this is the cast iron. See, the curve is very small in comparison to the mild steel, and this is the concrete. This curve is much more smaller than mild steel, because here if we compare to the mild steel, cast iron and concrete, then what happens? The plastic deformation of mild steel much more greater than cast iron and concrete. And for the concrete, what happens? There is no plastic deformation. The material is from the elastic zone. The material is directly go to the fracture. Means there is no plastic deformation for the concrete, and there is much more less area in the cast iron for the plastic deformation. Okay, see this material. Okay, after that the material is closed, break. So this is for the tensile test. This is for the tensile test. Okay, and we get the different graph for material in the compressive test. For the compressive test and tensile test, the stress strain diagram is different because some material is very good in the tensile, but they are give bad or poor performance in the compressive strain. Means they are enough strong in the tensile, but they give the very poor performance in the compressive. So most, this is the cast iron. Okay. So whatever the machine base, the cast iron has very good strength in the compressive strain. Okay. So that for this application, the most of the machine base made from the cast iron only, or we can say that the gray cast iron is used for the making of the different type of base of the machine. So see here, this is the very good diagram for the stress strain. Different zone is provided here, and this graph is belongs to the mild steel for the tensile test. So here some sigma u, sigma f, sigma y, and sigma PL is there. Okay, see, sigma u, sigma f, sigma y, and sigma PL is there. So what is the meaning of that? First, see here, sigma PL means here in this strain of the limit, the proportionality limit is end. At this point, the proportionality limit, by proportionality limit means strength and strain increase are increased in a same proportion. Means how much the stress is increases, strain is increases in the same proportion. Okay, so we call that this is the proportionality limit. and sigma PL is the proportional limit stress. Now sigma y, what is the sigma y? Sigma y is the yield stress. Means yielding star. What do you mean by yielding? Yielding means it is the zone where elastic deformation and plastic deformation combine. Means in the yielding, here yielding is star, sigma y is the yield stress where yielding is star. Then what is the meaning of that? Means the meaning of that at this point the elastic and plastic deformation combine. Means some elastic property is there, some plastic property also there. So we can say that this yielding zone is the combination of the plastic deformation and as well as elastic deformation. Now, see here, this is the strain hardening. This is the strain hardening. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Means we increase the load, but the change in the strain, the change in the stress is very low as comparison to here. Means the strain is increases, but stress is not increases as much strain. So see, the strain zone is like much, and the stress is increases only this much. Okay, so in comparison to strain, stress is increased very less, and this is the peak point of stress, ultimate stress. This is peak point, means the maximum value of stress we get during the maximum value of the stress we get in the tensile test, that is called the ultimate stress. So maybe this definition ask your question, ask your examination, what is the ultimate stress, what is the yield stress, what is the fracture stress. Now see what happened after this point. After this point, what happened? The stress decrease. The stress is decreased. So what is the stress? I already say that what is the stress? Stress is the internal property of the material which is opposed the deformation. Okay, which is opposed the deformation. Okay, so till here what happened? The stress is increases, means the opposition or rejection of the deformation is increasing. Whatever the force is applied, the strain is increases. The stress is increases according to the strain. But here what happened after this value, stress is decreases. Means what happened? This elongation is without increasing the load. This elongation is without increasing the load. Okay, and at this point what happened? The component at specimen is breakout. So that is why this point is called the sigma F fracture stress. Means this is the value. After this value, the component is fractured. After this value, the component is fractured. See here, this zone is purely the elastic behavior before yielding starts. See, this point is the where yielding starts, and this zone is the combination of elastic and plastic deformation. Here, purely plastic deformation is there. Means there is no elastic deformation is there. The load in whatever the shape or whatever the deformation uh, component that is the permanently fixed. Okay, after removing the load, he doesn't get the original shape of the or any recovery of the shape. And here is the necking. So what happens? A component is break from a point. So whatever that point, at that point, necking is start like this. This is called the necking. Like if we make like this and we apply the load like this, then what happens? This is elongation like that. Then what happens? In some point, this will be happen. Okay, this step is called the necking. Okay, so necking will be start from ultimate stresses. Okay, so this is the necking zone. After necking happen, at this point, fracture will be occur. Now, stress strain curve for the brittle material. This is for the ductile material and this is for the brittle material. So what happens in the brittle material? Only elastic zone is there. Only elastic zone is there. After elastic zone, what happens? After elastic zone, what happens? The specimen is breakdown. Means in the brittle material, for the brittle material, there is no plastic deformation is there. After elastic deformation, only breaking is there. Means the material is fractured without showing any plastic deformation. Means there is no scope of the plastic deformation in the brittle material. Now, example for the stress strain curve for the low carbon steel. See here, low carbon steel is nothing but this is the ductile. So you have see one ultimate stress, point 2 is the yield stress. Okay, point 3 here, rupture or fracture is start here. Point 4 is there, stress hardening is there. It is the stress hardening. Okay, and point 5 necking is start. Same is there. This is represented by the number only. Same diagram is there, but we represent in the form of number. Okay, Hooke's law is only valid for the portion of the curve between the origin and the yield point. See, where is the yield point? See here. So if we make this line, so what happens? Hooke's law only works till here. Okay, means before the plastic deformation, Hooke's law only happen. After plastic deformation, Hooke's law is not applied. Now we can see this stress strain diagram for the mild steel and this stress strain diagram for the aluminum. Different material, different stress strain diagram. See here what happens. In the aluminum, the proportionality limit completely more from the mild steel. So see here, sigma PL proportionality limit. See, you can see that is the parallel. That is the parallel name of this. Okay, you get a parallel line. So you can see the plastic deformation length and here discuss about these two curves only, these two sections only. So what happens? The ultimate stress here, the ultimate stress value is higher than mild stress in comparison. So here we all discuss these things. Sigma PL proportional limit stress above which strain is not longer proportional to the strain. Sigma EL, elastic limit. Sigma Y point. Sigma YS, yield. Okay. Sigma U, ultimate. This is the nothing but whatever we study, that is the same, but we compare here two different materials, One is steel and aluminum. Now, here the name is changed. Okay, true stress and strain. True stress strain. Okay, so what is the true stress strain? See here, true stress and true strain are based upon the instantaneous value of the cross-section area and gauge length. What is the gauge length? See here, nothing is stuck here. See what I see first, then you can easily observe. See here, the knitting is stuck here. You start here. At that point, fracture will be occurred. At that same point, fracture will be occurred. So, what is the true stress and true strain? True stress and true strain are based upon the extent of the cross-section area and gauge length. So, whatever the gauge length, this is the gauge length. Gauge length is that length where the test is performed. Which length test is performed, that is called the length. See, these things is similar whatever we studied here previously, elastic zone, plastic zone. We can divide now stress strain curve in part. First is elastic zone, second is plastic zone. Okay. To pressure, this is pressure to volume. Okay, this is similar to pressure to volume, area equal to work. So, this is the work done in the elastic limit, and this is the work done here. Work done in the plastic step one. Meaning of that, why I showing this pressure volume curve, because this is curve. Now, see, we come to the law. See, in previously we see a formula like epsilon xx, that is equal to 1 upon E sigma x x. So, if we talk about this is the stress and this is the strain, so what is the stress value from this equation? This stress equal to E into strain, and this is tau, shear stress equal to G and gamma. What is the gamma? Gamma is the shear strain, and what is the G? G is the shear modulus, and E is the modulus. T is used for the compressive deformation and tensile deformation, and G is used for the shearing deformation. Means this is angle, this deformation in the form of angle, and this deformation is the form of mm, in the form of length. Okay, now stresses on the identical plane. See here, P force is applied, sigma equal to F upon N. See here, this is the incline. If the inclination is there, then what happens? See, if the force is P is applied like this, P is applied like this, and plane is this. So we can resolve this into the two components. See here, one is perpendicular to the plane like this. Okay. See, if P, then what happens? This is P cos theta. This component is P cos theta, and this component is P sin theta. And what is the theta? Theta is the inclination of the plane. Inclination of the plane. Okay, like that you can see. Okay, so incline stresses on the incline. This is the simple stress and this is the shear stress. Okay, so inclination has to divide the force component and area component in the two forms. I explain like this. A force is applied like this. Then we draw a line perpendicular to this plane and this. So what happens? If this is theta, then this is our P cos theta and this is our P sin theta. Okay, that is the way. So students, do you have any question till here?
No, sir.
Okay, any doubt, then please message me. I share this with you and be ready for